I'm Sam Sutherland, and this is Extremely Online, a show about the internet now being made over the internet because we pitched it and sold it in the before times, and we think it's very important to live up to our commitments. Right now, the only music festival that you can attend is a URL one, instead of an IRL one. Open Pit started out as a bunch of pals from Hamilton, Ontario. And now they're essentially the biggest name in the whole URL music festival scene. And the week that we insisted that they talk to us, they were busy planning the biggest event of their lives. A fundraiser for Feeding America, curated by 2019's buzziest band, 100 gecs. Well, the whole thing is themed around their new album, and they're curating artists like Charlie XCX, A.G. Cook, like really exciting established artists. All happening in a magic tree next to a giant rat with a huge ass in Minecraft.
You're listening to Square Garden.
My name's Max Trump. I'm an architecture student from Hamilton, Ontario.
You're about a week out from what is maybe going to be one of the biggest events you've ever thrown.
It's already going to be like 4 times bigger than the last one.
Right. What is the most stressful part?
Definitely most stressed about server issues, because that has been a staple of our events. The server's not working at the beginning. And 100x explicitly mentioned, we hope the servers work in the beginning.
Open Pit was preparing to do what Fortnite was just pretending to do. Host thousands of people inside of a video game for a live musical experience that is absolutely the closest thing any of us are going to get to anything like that for a little while. It's show day. How's everybody feeling?
As soon as you reminded me it was show day, it's like my heart rate went up.
I'm so sorry. Do you want to talk about something else? You want to talk about there's nothing else to talk about. It's quarantine.
It's
There's
true,
absolutely
yeah.
nothing else happening. What's the thing you're the most excited about?
Listening to the sets. Actually,
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
Even though we obviously get them in advance, I always intentionally don't listen to them until the show so I can experience it with everybody else.
Especially this lineup is all artists that I specifically love. Perry Grip especially just amazes me because that's I listened to his songs as a kid. The first iTunes purchases I made were Perry Grip songs.
Really? If you're not familiar with 100 gecs, it's confusing to say this is a big deal because it's not like James Taylor is playing a Minecraft festival. James Taylor for some reason is the most popular non-internet artist I could think of. But Charlie XCX is a very popular normal artist, and even 100 gecs, over the last year have become normal mainstream popular. Do you like Maury? I've definitely seen headlines check out this Minecraft music festival with 100 gecs and Charlie XCX. Because of the size of the artist, is there any more pressure with this event?
There isn't pressure from that, but there's a lot of pressure internally to make sure that this event goes flawlessly on the Open Pit side and as well on the 100 gecs side. I mean, there's not much we can do now. We just have to see what happens, I think.
But we didn't start there. We started much closer to here. That's superstar producer and musician Ryan Hemsworth, who's worked with artists like Tinashe and Mitski, DJing via TinyChat, a very early and highly unstable live streaming platform from about 10,000 internet years ago, via his bathtub. This was all part of SPF 420, the OG URL music festival.
Tony Hawk Pro DJ, Tony Hawk Pro DJ, Tony Hawk Pro DJ, Tony Hawk Pro DJ.
I'm Ryan Hemsworth. I'm living in Hamilton. I'm a musician, producer. That's kind of my gist, I guess.
Tell me about those early SPF 420 parties.
Yeah, I always use it as a way to present something a little different that I couldn't pull up to a club or whatever and do. So I just set up candles and just sat in my bathtub and played music and tried to make it intimate in some capacity. You could barely hear the audio sometimes, which was all part of the appeal. So it was just a nice way to kind of connect and have these imaginary shows with your friends from different cities and countries.
I wonder what you thought of Fortnite's big Marshmallow event, which they kind of promoted as the first video game live stream.
A lot of that big EDM industry tries to constantly rewrite history and say this person was the first to do this or that, and even pre SPF or whatever, like this was happening in like Japan at Hatsune Miku concerts like, over a decade ago. So I don't know, it's cool to see that people are starting to like find their own way to do it with their like little pockets of the internet. I think that's the most important part.
When the marshmallows stuff was happening and lots of people were talking about it, one of the SPF 420 people sent me a message about like, what you guys are doing is great, like keep it up. And that was like very inspiring thing to hear, because it was like such a legendary group of people back in the day.
Open Pit's Minecraft music festivals include the hugely successful 2018 Coachella, and then Firefest, spelled with an I, not a Y, like that one, and the Met Gala spoofing Mine Gala.
These glasses make us look really fancy and important, eh?
I know. It's like we're at the Met Gala in Minecraft. Mine Gala, September 14th and 15th, 2019.
They were really just born from the desire to have a nice birthday party.
Back in 2018, I was just like, yo, I'm going to throw my birthday party in Minecraft, to sort of like go a complete opposite against the sort of American cliche of like going to the club on your 21st birthday. There's been like URL events where like people would like record their sets and be sort of like internet radio style. But I was like, what if we somehow figured out a way to combine them? And it had like 400 people come, and I was expecting like 40. I was like downstairs eating cake with my family, and I like ran upstairs and I could just see, I like saw like the Minecraft like console, and it's just like with like people like flying, trying to connect. So like obviously the server that I was hosting in my bedroom just crashed immediately. The fact that sort of so many people were just excited about it was so bizarre.
That fateful decision to buck cool birthday trends and stay inside with his friends would ultimately lead all of us into the butt of a giant rat. Walk me through the site that you've built.
The whole design was this big mystical world with this huge tree and a huge rat. And then the venue is inside the tree. It was just like an open sky behind the stage, and then the moon was right there. So when people are performing, you'll just like see them in front of the moon.
It's part of the artwork for Gek's upcoming album.
What's inside the rat?
There's a parkour inside the rat.
There's like a jumping challenge.
Some people will spend their whole time inside the rat, jumping around this like test course.
It also has this huge ass.
We modeled it off of the rat in this video that 100 Gex posted, where it's like a 3D modeled dancing rat. 100 Gex upcoming album is 1,000 Gex in the Tree of Clues, and this huge tree we built literally is filled with clues. For example, Charlie XCX's new song, one of the lyrics is about clementines, so we built a clementine farm underground.
We rebuilt Thosmoser, which is a store that Frax and Guppy like named their song after.
We're kind of leaving it up to the fans to just find lots and lots of stuff.
But yeah, we have some merch here.
This one is just based off of, one of their real tour merch sweatshirts. And then what Max is wearing on his face is like the 2 members of 100 Gex from their album cover. It says like earrings.
So you just wear them?
Yeah.
So roughly how many hours did it take multiple people to build this?
I'd say collectively at least 500 hours, I think.
Having like another really strong like creative team like 100 Gex sort of have this idea of what they wanted and give us sort of a direction, I think really enabled us on top of having a professional builder to create something like really cohesive and really beautiful.
Yeah, it's definitely more focused than any of our previous events. This one is very specifically like, it's an enchanted mushroom forest.
This is gorgeous. It's making me like, and I'm not just saying this, it's making me like a little emotional. Open Pit books their URL shows just like you'd book an IRL show. The lineups tend to be diverse, but lean towards artists who have been born or popularized on platforms like SoundCloud or associated with progressively minded electronic labels like PC Music. But those of us without the video game, either because we have no idea how to play or we lack the funds to do so, can still watch on Twitch or YouTube or join in a very, very active chat on Discord. Trends on Twitter, people talk about it on the internet, and sort of wherever you are, you can like join in the conversation that way.
It's something that we're constantly trying to push more. And so like, for example, having the Twitch streams now was another element of accessibility. So people who can't afford Minecraft or can't run it can still see the in-game world and experience that. And we're always trying to push having more people of marginalized groups like on the lineup and get people involved who wouldn't otherwise have the chance.
Our events like exist because of the community. We have people like from the community volunteering their time to like build stuff or like moderate them or play sets. There's definitely a culture for sure because of how like involved the community it is. It's not superficial in any sense.
This whole notion was exceedingly nice and charming before we were living through a global pandemic. But musicians, like everyone, have been forced inside, and there's no denying that we are living through a fearsome enthusiasm for the live stream.
The music industry realized that everyone was fucked, like for this summer and eventually this year. We just had like hundreds of DMs like, hey, like let's get on a call, because like we were the only group of people that had like ever done an online event of this scale like successfully.
What do you make of what is happening in the music industry right now?
It's good that people are experimenting. The more live streams that happen, the better they get for everyone, at least until we get a vaccine. Like I doubt that Coachella, the real one, is going to happen this fall.
Yeah, Coachella is going to be the only Cella. It's sort of easy to understand why artists are drawn to these experiences, because so much of what's happening on the internet right now kind of looks a lot like this. This is not real television. You can only watch so many badly framed acoustic performances before it gets kind of depressing. But there is nothing depressing about these amazing fussed over festivals that Open Pit is creating.
Because of all of our events being like for charity and all of them being for like the community, I'm so proud of like everything that we've done, and like being a part of this team means like so much to me.
For some of us, it's literally been like how we got to know each other. Even before we had anything called Open Pit, the first time I really spent a lot of time talking to Robin was for Max's 21st birthday.
And Robin likes to tell people how like I thought he was a total asshole during my birthday party, which I did, but then, like we're like best friends now. So
many of us are kind of apart in the world. Obviously Max and I live really close together, but you know, Umer's in New York, other friends are all across the US and Europe, and so there's really no other way to kind of get everyone together in one place.
Mm-hmm. Square Garden was a communal event. We were there together for one night. It was really, really nice.
During Charlie's set was the only time the servers were working perfectly. And I was like, this is like exactly what Open Pit is meant to be. Like in that moment, like everything's working and like there's like a billion people enjoying it. At the end of the day, we raised a total across like Minecraft, YouTube, Twitch, and selling shirts, $50,007 US for Feeding America.
That's going to make a meaningful difference in people's lives.
Even though I haven't fully processed it, it's the part I'm most proud of. It's mostly proud of like the team itself. It's almost 2 years ago to this date. May 16th, 2018 was the Minecraft birthday party. Coming from doing that, which was just like fucking around in my house, to like 2 years later throwing this event that raised $50,000. I never expected it, I think.
Did you hear from Gex? Did you hear from any other artists that you guys were excited about playing too?
Gex were like blown away by the world we built. They were like pretty astonished at it and spent a lot of time like exploring. I wish that there's some way to know everything that like the 17,000 like players did, because like some crazy stuff happens. Like you see screenshots of a bunch of people dressed as Garfield and you're just like, what is happening here? I need some context, you know? Like I just want to know what happened that led to this scenario.
City footage courtesy of EarthCam.
Doing an interview for TV right now.
Yes. Oh, Umer's dad made it on TV.
Hey,
he brought me my stimulus check or something.
Oh, nice.
It literally is. It says President Donald J. Trump.
You have a Trump? yeah. Cover the address. Let's see. Oh my god.
I wasn't supposed to get one. I'm a dependent.